bold, she's brassy, and right now she does the business.
I always loved money, and I always wanted to know, how do you become super rich? What better way to find out than from the fat cats? JJB has over 400 shops, selling everything from trainers to ping pong balls. They're the second largest sports retailers in the world, and they're expanding into everything, from health clubs to soccer centers. Dave Whelan is worth 700 million pounds, which makes me think maybe sports shops are the way to go. I'll be dealing trainers to teenagers.
Do you want any other shoes while I'm back there? Because I'm only making one trip.
Checking out his obsessive attention to detail.
How many's on the roll, and then we'll find out how many times you've been to the loo. Because somebody must be on the loo constantly.
And discovering, while he's been on a relentless drive for profit, his family have been dealt a series of tragic blows. His story seems almost Shakespearean.
Would you have ever given your daughter the business?
No. With Jane, she cannot be ruthless enough to do it.
Is he the business genius I should follow? Or an obsessive tyrant who wants to control his family and business, even when he's gone?
Hello. All right.
Dave Whelan has come to a crucial match. The football team he owns, Wigan Athletic, are going for the Premiership. He's branded it JJB, and they play in the JJB Stadium. His passion for sport and his passion for money drive him.
Well, if you ask my wife, I think she'll tell you I'm married to JJB and not to her, because it's my life. It's everything I stand for and everything I live for is JJB Sports.
Ruby loves money, but she knows nothing about Whelan's business. And she's never been to Wigan.
You know, A, I don't like sport, and B, I don't like where I am, and C, I'm freezing, and D, why did I have to do this? You know, there's other entrepreneurs.
But he's rich, so will he have business ideas for Ruby?
You've got to find something that you think the public will want to buy. And it's not easy, that, because there's a lot of people out there thinking exactly the same thing. So for Ruby to say, well, I want to do this, it's not quite as easy as that.
Most entrepreneurs live in Barbados. Why are we here? Why would a man with 700 million pounds live in Wigan? Is he crazy?
On her way to the JJB headquarters, Ruby decides to ask a few Wiganers about the richest man in town.
Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
He's all right.
All right.
Bit tight with his money sometimes, but...
Yeah, he owns a pie shop.
It's his tightest crown. Yeah. That's a Wigan's famous Wigan saying, tightest crown.
He has almost £1 billion.
Yes.
And he comes from Wigan.
Yes.
Does that make you proud or envious?
Oh, yeah. Envious.
Envious. Okay, at least you're honest.
Thank you.
Does your sister like working?
JJB.
Does she like working for him?
No, she said he's terrible.
He's terrible what, paying salary?
Yeah, paying. He's not a very good boss. All my mates work at JJB's.
And they don't like him?
No.
He was always a bit of an entrepreneur.
What did your brother tell you?
That he was good at making money even at school.
At school, so he was selling stuff out of his locker?
No comment.
Dave Whelan got big by selling top brands like Nike, Adidas and Reebok as cheap as possible. To keep prices down, everything comes from a huge central warehouse. Not just the millions of items of sportswear, but even every roll of loo paper used by the JJB staff. Keith Lowy oversees the hundreds of low-paid workers.
How many people work here? How many employees
There's
have
a
you
total of
got?
just under 700 people in the warehouse.
Yeah, and how come they're dressed in different outfits, like blue,
There's different colours, the green and the blues. The greens are full-time picking staff.
Picking?
Picking, they pick the orders.
Right.
The blue are part-time staff who do the same role only on a shorter number of hours.
So you can see when somebody's not in the wrong department?
Well, ideally, yeah.
You go, red shirt, get back to your field.
What are you doing there? You know?
Yeah. Can you see that this is running smoothly? Because to me it just looks like mayhem. How many goods do you get in?
We take about £20 million a week in.
20 million pounds
A week.
a week.
That's sell.
Is that unusual?
No, that's an average week.
Tell me the legends of Dave.
There's a story that, if it's true, it typifies the man. Many years ago, he was walking through the warehouse and there was a young boy coming towards him, and the sole on his trainer was flapping about in the wind a bit. And Dave's obviously said to him, "It's a bit dangerous. Why have you not got any other trainers on?" And the young lad has said, "Well, I don't get paid the next week, Mr. Whelan." So he's produced from his pocket an amount of money with a rubber band around.
How much money?
Oh, I wouldn't know.
A big wad?
Yeah, amount of money.
Yeah.
And he's took the rubber band off and said to the young lad, "Here, put that on it, we'll keep it going till next Saturday or next Thursday."
He didn't give him any money?
No, just give him the rubber band.
What a guy. Not even a gym shoe. He could have given him
just a
one.
rubber band.
Just a rubber band.
Having had the guided tour, Ruby wants to speak to the people who do the real graft. The pickers whose job it is to find the goods ordered by JJB stores nationwide.
What's a pick?
A pick, this is a pick.
Right, but do you take something from a box?
Yeah, right, CH. Now, do you want to do this pick on your own?
I don't know what you're talking
Right,
about.
I'll show
It's
you.
too complicated.
Caesar. Come
Come
on.
on, show me what you mean. All right, has Dave ever come up and said, "How you doing, Kath?"
So I've seen him like when I first started here. Well, I've gone past my alleys now. That's just
Don't get, I know, see, the thing about Dave is he can think about 3 things at once.
Yeah.
You can't.
We can't, no.
No.
There's your CH.
Right. Oh, so I go here.
Right, there's your number.
Right.
There's your number there.
I haven't had so much fun since I don't know when.
Then you get
It's
these
crap.
2 out.
Yeah, that's it?
Well, that's it, right, and you have to see that size
Is speed
10.
everything? Like, how many do you have to do a day?
Well, the more you do, the more money you get. Right, and then on here, in an hour, we have to pick 128 units. Then when you pick them, you just tick the
How
box.
much money do you make picking 128? You pick, I'll
Well,
talk.
my flat rate a week, I think it's £90 a week, and that's for 20 hours.
Right.
And then after that, it's your bonus.
Well, how much you get then?
You can earn much, it's like 160, something
Oh,
like
on
that.
top of that?
Yeah.
But you have to pick a lot.
Oh, yeah, you have to really
Have women
pick.
gone crazy from picking?
Oh, no.
So you get all these women picking. Do you sing like Negro spiritual songs while you're doing
No,
it?
we have radio one normally.
Right. TJ26. Oh, there aren't any. And I can't open a box, and you can't. You'll break those nails.
Ian, open me a box. Sorry, Ruby, I am
That's
late,
okay.
I told you.
No, that's good. I don't think Ian heard you, though.
Open a box, please.
He's fast, man. Look at that.
Come on.
Trot.
Run.
There must be a more efficient way. I got to talk to Dave about this. I don't want him to lose his job, but maybe if we put him on a hook.
One of these, love, come on.
Ian, if we put you on a hook, you know how kids have those playgrounds where they come over?
I wouldn't mind, no.
We'll get some work done then, wouldn't you?
If I have a heart attack, will it be all right?
Well, you'll get extra pay.
Oh, very good.
Yeah,
I'll do it then.
so that's all right.
Yes.
Do you guys get sick pay?
We
Yeah.
do, don't we? Yeah. You're off for 3 days.
Off the government.
Yeah, you're off for 3 days without pay, and then after that you get sick pay.
Oh, so it's really worth being really sick.
The pickers are fairly high up the food chain, but at the bottom are the pre-retailers. Dressed in yellow, they tag and hang the clothes before they're sent out, which saves time and money in the shops.
You're the taggers?
We're the taggers,
Are
yeah.
you lower than the pickers or above the pickers?
Lower.
And that doesn't bother you? Lower than a worm's belly. It's a beautiful expression. What's the pickers got that you don't have then?
Money.
They make the money. What's the job?
You get tickets, which says the price on.
Yeah.
Stick one of those on, stick it on there, put an hanger in it, put it in one of those tubs, and then ready to go to a shop. And when they get to the shop, just take them out of the tubs and hang them up on the...
They hang them straight up.
Yeah.
They're cutting down on guys in the shop that do this, so you're hanging them already.
We do them.
See, that's Dave Whelan's brain there. I bet when you get out of this building, you never talk about this job again.
We do sometimes, don't we? Because we do have a laugh on this job.
Do you guys have any questions? Like if you ever met Dave, you know, Dave's the head of this company? More money. He'd say tag faster.
The pre-retailers feel they're always being watched in case they slack off. They believe Dave is monitoring their every move.
He watches you on camera. Where's the camera?
They're everywhere. They're all over everywhere, the cameras.
We know he's in.
Big Brother is watching you.
Dave is sitting in his office with nothing better to do. I'm so glad I learned what it is you girls do. I understand now. Come on, get to work. Come on.
JJB is one of the biggest employers in Wigan, but it's not the only business that Dave Whelan owns in the town. He also has a pie factory, a hotel, 2 rugby clubs and a football club who play at the stadium that towers over the town. It cost him 25 million and it's named after the company.
Why did you call it JJB? Why didn't you call it Dave?
Because JJB was the original sports shop called JJ
Sure, but
Broughton.
you know, there's a new generation. We would have forgotten. Why don't you? It's the Dave Dome.
No, it's JJB. It must be. It's history.
You don't want your name anywhere?
No.
So you're sort of humble there. It's a little bit of humility there, Dave.
No humility. I'm proud of it. It's like, if anybody says, what do you do? I'll say, I run JJB.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of that. That is fantastic. No use having wealth if you've not got health.
No, I know that, Dave.
And that's the most important thing in life.
Well, okay, now let's say we're both healthy, okay?
We are both.
My next thing would be I'd like to own JJB. Call me crazy, okay? Let's say we both are feeling good. I wouldn't mind this empire.
David Whelan has always been passionate about sport. He started as a footballer playing for Blackburn Rovers. He even got to the FA Cup final in 1960, but broke his leg in a career-wrecking tackle. He opened a stall in Wigan Market selling toothpaste and razor blades, and also tried his hand at supermarkets. Then in the 1970s, he bought a small local shop, JJ Broughton, which sold sports goods to sportsmen. On a trip to America, Dave noticed everyone was wearing trainers and branded sportswear outside of the gym. He believed that Britain would follow suit, and so he began to rapidly expand JJB. He took Ruby to see a local store in Wigan so he could share his retail secrets.
Dave is going to explain to me why this is, you know, more successful than any other sports shop. Go.
Well, firstly, when a youngster walks through the door, his eyes open wide, because he's got jerseys, caps. When you go to the back of the store, there's trainers, there's space. He can look at everything, he can touch everything, and he can be, for one moment in time, David Beckham or Michael Owen, one of those star footballers. For a moment in time, he can go and he feels like one. Now, that's what I feel when I come in a store just like this and I look around.
What happens in other sports shops?
If you want a T-shirt, if you want a polo, if you want a pair of shoes, we've got them. If you want to go swimming and you need earplugs, we've got them. And that's why we're a special sports store, because we go down to the nitty-gritty.
Walk with me. How'd you start? What was the first thing in JJB?
Well, you start off with your trainers.
Oh, trainers were here.
Your trainers were here then?
Right.
Yeah, trainers, it's like bread in a supermarket. You've got to have them.
Right.
So I put them at the back of the
How
store.
many trainers were in 1978? Like 2?
Oh, yeah, half a dozen.
Did you know that someday there'd be, for every single person on the universe, there would be a special trainer for them?
No, you never believe that.
Really?
In America, one person has 7 trainers. In UK, they have 1. Now, a big difference, because we've got to get ours having 2 or 3, and that market is set to grow, the trainers market.
Right.
And we've got to get halfway to the American market. They'll have 3 or 4 pairs per person. In America, they've got a pair for tennis, they've got a pair for squash, they've got a pair for football.
And for robbing the neighborhood.
Oh, what?
Now, Dave, if I opened a shop and I was going to sell one product in here and I wanted to make money, which one would it be? What would make me the money?
The only thing in here that you could open a shop with that would bring people in constantly would be trainers.
Right.
And football boots.
Right.
Those are the things that generate trade day in, day out.
Right.
But on their own here, it's not that easy just to sell trainers and make a living.
Right.
America, yes.
And how much do you make on a trainer? Let's say I buy 90 pounds worth of trainer.
On a 90 pound of trainers, you've got VAT to come off that, the 17.5%, which is sort of 15 pounds the government takes, like that, for nothing. And we would probably then get 30 pounds out of that.
30 pounds?
Yeah.
On one trainer?
On one pair of trainers.
Right. I don't think you've done too badly, Dave.
even though your name isn't over the
I
title.
must say this is a most wonderful business to be in.
Right.
When you're selling sugar and bread and butter, and it is hard work. This is beautiful work. Everybody is happy in here. You see children's eyes light up when they walk in JJB, and they see all these magnificent things in here that they want. I'm not saying they can buy them or they can afford them, but they want them.
Right.
And that's...
Are you pretty easy on your staff? Like if they say, Dave, I want more money?
No. This store has got to operate on 10% of turnover.
That's it.
That's it. If sales fall and it goes over 10%, staff have got to be made redundant, that's for sure. But what the beauty is, if it also goes up in trade, we also create jobs.
Right. Do you ever say that to your staff? You got to be tough, you got to be tough.
In business, you've got to be. There is no in between. You've got to be honest with yourself, honest with the staff, and you've got to be tough, correct?
I bet I wouldn't mess with you. I wouldn't mess with you, Dave. I'm telling you, that face is not pretty when it gets angry.
Before she leaves, Ruby dons the JJB team tracksuit and has a go at working on the floor selling trainers.
Work with me with the customer, okay?
Yeah.
Just talk me through it.
Are
Are you looking for a shoe? What kind of shoe?
A strap one.
A strap
I'm
one.
not sure if we have any at the moment. I think it's just like a Velcro strap across. Yeah.
Because you can't tie your shoe yet?
Yeah.
Really?
We don't have any in men's, no Velcro.
You have 300,000 shoes and no Velcro.
We have different ones that zip-up
Oh, a
ones.
zipper. Would
You
that
don't
be
want
good?
laces.
It's only $24.99. Oh, you want these? Okay, what size are you?
11s.
11s. All right, I'll be right with you. Have a seat, and we'll be back with you. All right? Well, there we go. Where does he get £24.99?
Having found a customer, Ruby now has to locate the right size of shoes.
Look at the price.
$24.99. Oh, it's in
Should we
price
call it
order. There is a
range?
logic to this. Adidas, 49. No, keep going. 49, 49, 49, 40, 45. No, we're into small children.
You're into children's though, yeah.
Yeah, so your method didn't work there. So I'm waiting to see where you're going now. You think he's still out there?
So I said found the
Day
trainer.
4, still hunting for the shoe.
Found the trainer.
Found the trainer.
Yeah. I was just remembering what size I said now.
11, he said.
10, 11s, yeah.
Thank God I'm here.
We've only got 6, 7s and 9s.
Well,
So what to do now is I'll offer an alternative
what
to
do
the
we
customer.
do? Alternative, what
Yeah,
would that
something
mean?
similar to that.
I would say the boy does not want laces.
I mean, I can take this one out and show it him. If he
Yeah.
doesn't like it, you can always choose something off the stage itself.
This is a really exhausting job.
This way.
How much do you get paid for this? This way.
It's just under £5 an hour, I guess.
Under £5 an hour. Now, I know it's not what you were thinking you wanted, but I think you do want it, okay? Just open your mind. I know you wanted Velcro, I know you wanted a zipper, but let's think about this. You interested?
No.
I told you he wouldn't like this. I told you that. Hi. You getting those shoes?
Yeah.
Is JJB the cheapest place you can go? It is.
Definitely, yeah.
You have to at least look like you care about the size. You know what's sad is they really think I work here. I've got another customer. I don't think Dave actually needs anybody to sell the shoes. I think that, they should just be guards at the door. I think really the customer could do it for themselves as long as you're not stealing. This is not about a service industry. This is just about moving mass quantities of branding.
Dave's secret is not just piling it high and selling it cheap. He's also a genius in finding cheap retail space. Originally, JJB just had normal high street stores. But Dave Whelan noticed that the rent on first floor space was only 10% of ground floor rent. And so, with an eye for the bottom line, began moving his stores above the high street, saving himself millions. One of the big developments of the 1990s was out-of-town retail parks, and Whelan was quick to open superstores on these sites. He then hired property expert Barry Dunn, who came up with a brilliant wheeze to save more money.
So, can you give me the idea of this shop?
Yeah, out-of-town superstore concept. mezzanine at the moment. It's 2,800 square feet. We want to extend it.
So you pulled the second floor out?
Yeah. Under the law of landlord and tenant 54 Act, we can extend that mezzanine floor and it becomes rent-free. So we pay rent on the ground floor and the mezzanine is rent-free. So we intend to extend this so we can have more rent-free space.
Okay, and who thought of this?
I did.
You thought of that. So how happy was Dave when you came in with this?
He was pretty ecstatic, and then he started retrospectively, how many of these can we now do? So
he's building second floors?
Yes.
Right.
And then we take it a step further every time.
So what has Dave taught you then? Would you say Dave has taught you to be more daring than you ever would have been?
No, I wouldn't say I was more daring. I'm very cautious. Dave is the one who's daring. The entrepreneur is the one who takes the risk. I tend to look at it and think, well, I'm the one who tries to pull the reins back and think, can we just think about this a little bit?
The next scheme was to open gyms. By the late 1990s, the government was clamping down on retail parks. Barry and Dave's solution would not only get round planning laws, but also reduce overheads. JJB began opening a new chain of health clubs, which are easier to get permission for, and then put a shop upstairs.
What's this one?
It's St. Helens Retail Health and Leisure Club.
Right.
We want to have two businesses from one floor plate, one entrance hall, health club or JJB shop.
So you get two streams of business for the price of one?
Yeah, two businesses on one floor plate. Right. That's the key to the success.
Are you not paying rent for up there?
I'm not paying rent for up there at all.
I'm getting the idea. Because you've made this mezzanine?
Correct. With an escalator, make it easy for the customers to go up.
Who thought of this idea?
This was my idea.
This is you again?
Yeah.
Not just a pretty face. All right, so Dave must be delighted with this idea.
Yeah, Dave loves this. He wants to run these all the time.
And I noticed that the escalator takes you up, but then they got you. Then you have to walk down.
Like well, it's much easier to come down a staircase than it is to go up in a staircase. So we make it easy for the customer to come up, and then it's much easier to come back down.
Have them spit out the other side. Because you're done with them. You got their money. Well, I can say that.
You can.
I can say that. So now the idea, this is exactly the same thing again.
This could be anywhere. Out of town, ground floor.
Everywhere is Wigan.
It's first floor.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's free rent.
That's gives you such, you're swollen when you say that.
Yeah.
Free rent.
The latest developments are soccer domes, huge warehouses with indoor football pitches. The margin of profit on these is low, but they bring a captive audience to the on-site gym and sports store.
What's beyond the soccer dome?
I don't know what's beyond the soccer dome.
Can you imagine, you know, when whole communities are called JJB? Seriously, and there happens to be a shop that you have to drive through before you get to your house. Don't you think that's coming?
I don't think that's coming, no.
Well,
not in my lifetime, anyway.
Dave Whelan is a hard-nosed, penny-pinching businessman. So what would it be like to have him as head of the family? I met him at the house where his daughter and grandchildren live. But before talking with them, Dave and I went for a walk.
You're the type of guy that just keeps going forward, and even if they break your body, you're still going to crawl to the final line.
You're going to try, because you've got a goal.
Yeah.
And you've got to get to that goal.
Is this like your family, this business? Do you feel like it's that close, like you are JJB?
Yeah, I love JJB. It's my passion. It's like what I do every single day.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I would do without it now. It's just, when I wake up, I'm going to JJB. When it's Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to JJB. I'm going to JJB Stadium. It's a lifetime
obsession.
It's a love affair. Yeah, it's a love affair.
But the love affair bit is the thing I find so peculiar, because most people just go, well, it's a business.
The business is a bit more than that. A business that you've built yourself is special to you, and getting somebody to take it on through life is not easy.
Can I just say...
Yeah, have a look.
This is your daughter's sauna.
This is the steam room.
The steam room.
Steam room.
Do you have taste like this?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, your daughter has meticulous taste.
Absolutely. Yeah. Much better taste than me.
I was going to say, coming from Wigan, I don't, you know what I mean, this is not a sensibility, no offense.
No offense.
I would think it was bred up in these parts.
She takes after my wife, Pat. She's got great taste, and Jane's got great taste.
And is she as driven as you are?
Jane is probably driven more than me.
Your daughter?
Absolutely. She's 4 children to look after. She's his house to run. She runs a fashion business. She works for JJB Sports. She works solidly every single day.
Do you think women are natural hunters?
Women know more about fashion and clothes than men will ever know.
Right,
So
but what about other areas?
other areas, no, they're not so good at. So you've got to give them guidance on that.
Right.
You know, balance sheets and gross margins and...
You don't think they're good at that?
I'm good at that, Jane isn't.
Right. Dave goes to the pub, leaving me in the kitchen with his wife Pat and daughter Jane to find out what makes Daddy tick. Your dad said that my trousers, he didn't like them.
No, they're great. He says things like that all the time. If everything's unusual.
He doesn't like it?
No.
But if you have a dad like that, who's so driven, and you're a female, how does that affect you growing up?
He's just very, very straight, and everything's black and white, which makes life easier in a way when you grow up in that sort of environment.
Does it?
Well, yes, because you know where you are, you know where your boundaries are, and where, you know. Yes,
But luckily you aren't a rebel.
No, a good girl. No, he didn't. You just respected him so much, and then.
Right. Did you want to take over the company? Would you like to?
No, not really. It's a big company.
Yeah. Do you think if you suddenly took it over, you might change it into something a little more stylish? It would kill him.
No, he's successful in what he does. He's doing it right.
Did you ever want to see him a little bit more when he was building all this?
Yes, but I got used to it. I'd like him to have wound down a bit, because you do as you're getting out, but he didn't. He went over the other way. He started doing more and more.
Yeah, but you know, family still isn't #1. It is JJB. Does that disturb you?
He always says that because he likes to say that, but we know, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right. So that's just his recording?
It's always been there, yeah. It was his mantra, always in there, yeah. That's the way he is. He's always said that, hasn't he?
He has always said that, but it's, you know.
Yeah, Would you have ever given your daughter the business?
No.
Why?
With Jane, she cannot be ruthless enough to do it.
Right. Did she want the business?
No, she has never had any desire.
Does it matter to you who runs it?
As long as you run it efficiently, no.
Well, you're dead. You know what I mean? So how can you even think this? You're a pretty straightforward man. What do you care?
You've got to try and leave the business as you would expect somebody to run it in the same broad manner. Everybody's different, of course, but you need somebody who's
Are you training somebody for this?
Well, you're always looking.
You have a son.
That's Paul. When he was born, he was absolutely fine, perfect, and he got to the age of 16 and was still fine. He started to come into the business, and he was working in the business, buying. Then I started to notice him doing strange things in the office, you know, kicking a hole in the wall, or weird things that you think, what's wrong, you know? They took him to Manchester to see a doctor there, and the doctor came to see me, said, I would like to talk to you quite seriously. And when he said, your son's schizophrenic, I thought, can't be so. And I said, well, how long will it take him to get over it? He said, he might get over it in a week, he might never get over it in his life, and we don't know what causes it, and we don't know what cures it. And I thought, how can that happen to me?
But did he ever say, I want to be X? Did he ever say? He didn't want to do your business at all, or am I being...
He wanted to go on his own. He wanted to open his own shop. He had his own ideas.
Which was?
A sports shop.
Right.
And I allowed him to do that. He opened one in Warrington, and it wasn't successful because of his inconsistency and his illness. It led to him starting to gamble, which gambling is something that I frown on totally. And immediately I found he had gambled £500 on a horse. I went and closed the business immediately. Not an easy thing to do, but I don't know, I just can't stand gambling at all.
Right. Were you hard on him?
I had to be at that particular moment, yes.
With Paul unable to take over the empire, Whelan began searching for another successor. In the mid-80s, Jane's husband, Duncan Sharp, entered the company and was fast-tracked to the boardroom.
Certain people have certain abilities. Now...
What did he have?
He had an ability to negotiate. He had an ability to see things that were pushing us forward, like appointing a designer, and he did all kinds of things that I would not have done.
And how long did he stay?
It was with me for 10, 12 years.
Right.
In 2001, Dave decided it was time to step back from the day-to-day running of the company and appointed son-in-law Duncan as chief executive. But within months, JJB profits had fallen and the share price had collapsed, wiping hundreds of millions of pounds of value off the company. But there was a bigger blow to come. In October that year, Duncan Sharp took his own life.
Whatever anybody tells me, I can never understand why people will take their own life. It's something that I think you need an awful lot of guts to do.
Why did he take the strain, if you're still by his side?
A very, very difficult question and something we'll never know, Ruby.
Right. Did he say, can you help me?
Yeah.
And why didn't you just say go?
In fairness, I did say that it's time he took a rest and stand down and go and take 6 months off and see how you feel at the end of all that. Because when you're running a company with 10, 11,000 employees, you've got a great responsibility.
There's a moment you love your business, but there's a moment where it's life and death.
Yeah. I honestly...
Right. I bet you play this back in your head the way you do when you watch yourself in football.
I've asked the question so many times, you just wonder sometimes why and how your own son or your own son-in-law would be dealt such a blow. And there's only one way, and that's you've got to get up, you've got to keep running, you've got to keep fighting, you've got to keep working.
Can I ask you a really cliched bad question? This is bad.
Bad question.
And I'm ashamed of this.
Yeah.
But if somebody said, no JJB, but your son's okay and your son-in-law's alive, what would you do?
That is an awkward question, that, because I think that's an impossible question.
I know.
And for me to give an answer to that, I would like my son to be 100%, I'd like Duncan to be back with us, and I'd still like JJB.
Well, here's my deal.
Yeah.
No JJB.
Difficult deal, that. I've got 11,000 people that I've got to look after, and JJB I've got to look after.
But there's always another job.
Well, if there was no JJB, it would be a big, big hole in my life.
Do you know what you remind me of?
What?
The Terminator.
After the tragedy, Dave threw himself back into the full-time running of JJB. He still attends the office every day and signs every cheque the company writes.
You get some days when I've got to sign sort of 1,000 on a Friday afternoon. But this is the only way you can keep track of where we're up to with suppliers, overheads, expenses.
Whelan's obsession with costs doesn't just extend to his chequebook, as Ruby discovers when she lends a hand to the receptionists at the JJB HQ.
Chris Jones.
Morning, JJB.
Chris Jones or Chris Rimmer?
Direct debits. Direct debits?
6892.
You're very good. 6892.
That's it.
So how long have you worked here?
2.5 years.
Can we come?
Morning, JJB.
Morning, JJB. Have you met Dave Whelan?
Yes, we meet him every day.
Every day? Well,
every day when he comes into the office.
And he says to you?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. That's the relationship?
Yes.
What do you think of him? Hello?
Very
Wait,
nice
1 second.
man.
Well, no, come on. What do you really think?
Yes.
Direct debit again.
6109. Morning, JJB.
Are there like legends about this guy?
And he's turned the light off on me in the loo.
No. He turned the light off on you when you were in the toilet? He came in and stuck his hand in? Did you say, I'm in the toilet? Well, I guess when you're urinating in the dark, you know it's the boss. That's nuts.
He counts toilet roll.
Counts to what? He's made people count how many sheets you get in a toilet roll?
Morning, JJB.
If I wanted to learn how to be an entrepreneur,
morning,
man, I got to go into some detail work here.
Ruby wonders whether Dave ever stops thinking of cost-cutting initiatives. She finds him playing golf with his best friend, his tax accountant.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
He won. That's why he's so happy. I want to see him when he doesn't win. Does your brain work all the time? I mean, from the moment you get up in the morning, are you already thinking? It's scanning. It's like a machine that's just scanning what things are.
Yeah.
What's the?
I think straight away I get in the car to drive to work. I start to think, have we checked that? Who's doing that? Have we closed that store? When are we opening this one? In the office, he probably told you that I follow them round sometimes and put notice everywhere, switch off the light.
I've seen him.
Switch off the light.
I've been going in darkness. It's like I'm working with Braille to find where the sink is.
To waste.
Or when you turned out the lights when Sky Television was filming on the pitch and you said let them pay for their electricity.
Who told you that one?
Oh, everybody told me everything. I got every story. He was going to count the loo paper. He said that the girl said that you actually had somebody going 1, 2, 3, 4. But look, you got a double one.
This came about because one store was using about 18 toilet rolls a week for 6 staff, and I thought, well, and they said, well, they use them, and I said, well, we'll count how many's on the roll, and then we'll find out how many times you've been to the loo. Because somebody must be on the loo constantly. When we're buying it now, I sometimes will say, well, if you bought that cheap, how many pieces of paper on it? It just puts in the mind that what looks a bargain is not always a bargain.
Right.
So just look a little deeper.
This constant eye on costs has led Whelan to decide that his van drivers who deliver the goods aren't efficient enough. So the week before filming, he sacked them all. Outside, Ruby's an outside distribution company. The cost will be greater, but more frequent deliveries should increase sales.
Do you think JJB could afford to pay you more?
Most definitely, yeah. I think they made about 110 million quid last year, something like that.
When you worked here, did he say really you should care about JJB and JJB as, you know?
Oh, yeah.
What's that, what's his mottos, you know?
Everyone's a winner.
Everyone's a winner. Did you say, excuse me, this winner's just been fired?
Yeah, everyone's a winner, yeah.
Only the boss is a winner. Yeah, that's the name of the game.
Yeah, we're getting by. We're not winners, we just get by.
Passing on his message that everyone's a winner are Dave's inner circle of associate directors. 13 men who each take responsibility for a different area of the business and are rewarded with a fat salary and their own matching silver Mercedes. In charge of marketing is Winston Hyam. He's been asked to oversee the company's biggest launch of the year, the release of the New England shirt for Euro 2004, which will be spearheaded by a TV ad campaign. But as ever, he works on a tight budget.
What's this Euro campaign thing then?
The Euro campaign is going to be hopefully the biggest thing for our replica sales this year.
So the ad costs £25,000. Now that's real cheap.
That's real cheap.
Yeah, that's almost impossibly cheap. Because a real ad, you know, a real television ad costs like a £250,000.
Yeah,
Any basic ad.
Action!
You wanted it to be shot in Portugal because it is going to Portugal, and then Dave said that's too much money. So you recreated Wigan to look like Portugal. How did you do that?
Hopefully just by the lighting and the various things that you can bring to it.
What did you do?
And hopefully when the music's done, the whole thing of Euro Championships will be planted in people's minds, so...
They will be convinced when they see this ad that this was shot in Portugal.
I'm not saying they'll be convinced, but the possibility it could be, and it's just got to give them the thing of we want to be in Portugal.
Did you put a couple trees in?
No, we didn't go that far in the end.
How many actors are you using in it?
Sort of about 6, half a dozen. We filmed it at the JJB Stadium.
Right.
And because that's economically viable.
And Dave didn't mind that?
Well, he didn't know at first, but... but he wouldn't have minded anyway if we'd have asked him. He'd have said, yeah, fine.
He said, oh, okay.
Just stay off the pitch.
So you had to do like on the side of the pitch?
As close to the side as we could keep.
Right. So you're on the side of the pitch recreating Portugal with 6 actors.
As best we can, yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Action!
But I would have said the cheapest way to do an ad for $20,000 is you just have a big board and it says, slash prices today only, JJB, big sale of the century, fire, fire, everything must go. And maybe you talking. That's £25,000 worth of ad.
Our chairman.
Do you know
because
what,
he would say something like that.
Dave would have said that's a good idea.
In fact, he did say that, yeah.
He said that?
He said that, yeah.
I swear to God, you know, I didn't know that.
Well, you could be chairwoman then.
Well, so far, we're not that dissimilar.
Correct.
Ruby finds it hard to believe that JJB can effectively promote their business on such a tight budget. So she goes to see Whelan's most trusted employee, David Greenwood, the finance director who's been helping control the money for 30 years.
I'm the operator with my pocket calculator. His entire ethos is expansion, expansion, expansion. He regarded sport as being a major growth area, A, because it was so fragmented, and B, because people's aspirations were moving more towards sports-related products. Our turnover in 1994 was only £41 million. Our profits were only £4 million. Most of the people that we sold to would have been people who were taking part in a sport. Since then, the major brands have come along, Nike, Adidas and Reebok. They've widened their product range so that it's attractive not only to the people who take part in a sport, take part in an activity, but to people who want to wear it for leisure purposes, people who want to wear it at night, casual use, and they've increased their turnover as a result of that, and we've increased our turnover.
In 2003, JJB turned over close to £1 billion and created 90 million of profit.
A lot of our marketing spend is paid for us by the likes of our major suppliers of Nike, Adidas and Reebok. Nike, Adidas and Reebok spend enormous amounts of money every year, and you'll certainly have seen the adverts on TV. Very, very jazzy adverts, very clever adverts. They're constantly developing their products, and it's those products that basically go into the sports trade rather than go into the likes of Tesco and Asda and Next.
However, recently the supermarkets have moved into sportswear, so it's vital that JJB market themselves as the best value retailer. Pivotal to this is Winston's new bargain basement advert. But will the chairman approve the campaign?
So good luck.
Thank you.
All right. So now you show the boss your ad for...
You got 10 minutes. See the England ad?
Have you got it already now?
It's near enough ready, yeah.
Right, okay.
Do you need to say anything?
Basically, we've not done the voiceover, and obviously the prices aren't correct. We're doing that on Monday with Stuart Hall in Manchester, but the actual imagery is what I'd like your approval on. And
Support your country with JJB Sports, the official England sports store. And buy the New England shirt for only £35. The New England ladies shirt, also just £35. Kids, you can support the nation too in the junior shirt for £25. Support the nation in style this summer with the New England shirt, available now at JJB, the official England sports store.
Punchy.
Punchy. Did you know it was supposed to look like Portugal?
It's supposed to look like Portugal. I don't think it does look like Portugal at all.
Support your country with JJB Sports, the official England sports store.
I don't think that's the best one you've ever done, if I'm being very honest. I don't think that's the best. I don't think it's the patch one you did last time.
it was half the budget of last time.
It was half the budget. It looks half the budget.
Well, I just think, you know, at the end of the day, it's putting over the point over 4 days of the shirts available at JJB, and I think the shirt looks good.
In my opinion, it's still not your best.
But is it a goer?
It's got to be a goer because of the time schedule. We're into launch in how long? 14 days?
Yeah.
So it's got to be a goer.
On the 30th.
Yeah. Last time we did that, we used one of the England players. We've not done that this time.
No, we couldn't get access to the England players.
We couldn't get access to one of them.
No, we could only get a still photograph of Michael Owen wearing the shirt, and it was just hard to sort of work it in, and it's not the best sort of shots.
I would have just had that shot, right?
Yeah.
And what your prices are, and just kept it on that shot. Simple.
I can go along with that, because what I say, if you do something, if you do it simple, do it quickly, it's much better. That's what the line I go down.
Can we just see that picture?
Yeah. If we get that. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Winston always works hard.
Yeah.
And the team he's got in there are very good and they're very, very enthusiastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Now, you can't top that.
I have to say, I agree with you. That is, it shows off what we're talking about, which is a cross of St. George on the shoulders.
I'm sorry, Winston. I really like Winston. You know, but business is business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go along with you.
Okay.
Easy done.
I swear to you, we never talked about this.
And is it easy to change to that, Winston? Can we change to that or not? Just say yes or no. If you can't do it, you can't do it.
No.
You can't. Right, well, we've got to run with what you've got.
Competition for the launch of the England shirt is so fierce that JJB keep the price secret, even internally, until the advert airs, in case a competitor finds out.
What price we sell it at will be competitive. We have already decided, but we've not released it yet. So only two of us know what price we're going to go out at. Now, if anybody wants to go below that, so be it. And we've got to wear it, because if we're below them, but that's competition, and that's what it's all about.
Keeping JJB as the #1 sportswear retailer is no longer just a matter of personal pride for Whelan. 10 years ago, he sold a chunk of the business to shareholders to fund his programme of expansion. And in 1997, he sold more shares to fund the purchase of his main competitor. Although he's kept 40% himself, it means that city analysts now stare at what he does. Ruby goes to talk to one of them, Ian MacDonald.
How do the shareholders feel about him?
Well,
do they like him?
I think there are split camps on Dave. You'll probably find that some people, he's got a massive fan club on one side of the fence, and
because?
Well, because he's made them all a lot of money. You know, they've if people have held these shares for a long time, they've probably done very well. And at the bottom line is that he's grown this business from 1 store to 450 stores. So he must have been doing something right over those years. On the other hand, you might get those people who think that, well, Dave's a very big character and he tends to treat this as his own business rather than the business of shareholders. But I think by and large, he's certainly very well respected in the city.
Is primarily his genius or his cleverness is being so ruthless with A, keeping the pay down, and B, keeping the cost of the property down?
Yeah, he's always been he's a very, very tough negotiator. So certainly when it comes to signing leases to take properties, he's legendary in the industry as being very, very tough to deal with. And I think anyone who's going to successfully run a retail business has got to keep an eye on the costs. Retail is all about lots and lots of pennies and making the pennies add up to very big numbers. And over the years, he's been very, very good at that. There's always this phrase that people use, which is retail is all about detail. And that is perfectly true. And Dave Whelan is probably one of the best living examples of that, to be perfectly honest. He will be onto everything, so no doubt he's poring over the sales data when he's in Barbados, when he's in Wigan, wherever he is, every day. And
what happens when he dies?
That's a very good question. I mean, I think the business at that point will change dramatically. I mean, I think he's probably the kind of guy that will be carried out of JJB in a box anyway. So I can't see him retiring gracefully and going to sit on a beach. I just don't think that's his style, to be perfectly honest. He will always be involved. If Dave Whelan wasn't there, then I think it would have to be a very different business. So I think it would become more driven by management structures and things like that.
Which would kill Dave anyway.
I can't imagine it's the kind of thing that he would enjoy, no.
He won't want to know.
No.
But he won't.
It's just not his style.
Recently, Dave tried to buy the company back from the shareholders so he could call the shots again, decide who succeeds him, and save a lot of tax. It would have cost him £500 million. To find out why, Ruby goes to see him back at the stadium where he's overseeing the employees of another of his private companies, the Wigan Rugby League team.
Are you as proud of this team as you are of your football team?
Absolutely, yeah, well, yeah. This is probably the most famous rugby league team in the world.
When did you buy this?
6, 7 years ago, just after I bought Wigan Athletic.
You're going to buy the tennis club too?
No.
And the golf club?
No, the golf club.
So you're like the Mussolini of sport.
I just helped the golf club. Most of these are Wigan lads.
Oh, so you grow them big here from those pies. You stuff them full of...
Get them all on pies.
Stuff them all on pies. They look fantastic.
At half-time, Dave has his customary pie from his own factory.
It touches me that it's such a humble little thing, the pie, and yet we have the helicopter and the jet and the company. All you need is a little pie to make you happy.
Yeah.
That actually should be your logo.
Pies are us.
Pies are also... This guy has a jet, but he still eats a pie.
Pies are us, yeah.
Why'd you make your company go public?
I did it to raise funds about 9 years ago.
Why'd you want to buy it back?
I wanted it to be private purely for inheritance tax. It meant I was borrowing something in the order of £400 million myself to do it.
Just for inheritance tax?
Yeah. I can't leave JJB shares to my grandchildren without paying inheritance tax.
Everybody has to pay inheritance tax.
No. If you're a private company, you don't have to pay inheritance tax.
No inheritance tax?
No.
Okay, so now that you're not, how much do you have to pay?
40%.
Right. That still leaves your daughter with something like 128 million?
It still leaves her quite wealthy, but it's not a case of that. It's a case of you want the family to continue to run the business if that's possible and if they are able.
Right. But let's say they don't want to. Why are you doing this battle?
If they don't want to, that's entirely their decision, but I've tried to leave what I can to them. Then if they want to pick it up, they'll pick it up.
If the gene has been passed to your kids, don't worry, they'll have their own little empire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because here's a conundrum. If they haven't got what it takes, they'll screw up your company. If they have what it takes, they'll make another company. Have you thought of it that way?
I've thought of it this way. If they've got what it takes, you've got a fine company to start off with in JJB.
Right.
And if they could have youth and vigour and ability and drive it forward, we could double in size, we could treble in size.
You'll be dead.
Yeah, I know, but you can't, you must think about these things.
I see, but just, you know, when you're lying there, you know, and the last breath is coming and you still got the calculator going, wait a minute, we can triple in size. Wait, if we take off the tax and we spin another 2 and we make another farm, and then they'll close the lid. And they'll throw in a pie.
Good, I'll say good riddance.
I say, get out of here, Dave. It's enough already.
His hope for the future now rests with his daughter's 3 sons. Wife Pat has seen it all.
Is he still obsessed with who inherits the company?
Well, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say he's obsessed.
It's almost a, you know, Shakespearean epic, you know, that a man with such drive has a son who happens to have, you know, a mental problem.
Yes, yeah. It's tragic, really, isn't it, like you say?
It's such an incredible story for a man.
I know.
Like him, and then to give it to her husband, Jane's husband, and then that he falls, and the son falls.
Yes.
Because there's only one man of iron made, you know,
I know.
every few million. Otherwise, everybody'd have this kind of power.
Exactly, yeah, of course he would, yes, yeah. But that's in him. That's his nature.
Why did he insist on buying his own company back so that his family can inherit it when his family might not even want JJB?
No, maybe not, but he thought it was in our best interests. He regretted having gone public. You're dictated to a lot when you go public by the city. And you know, he doesn't like to be dictated to. He likes to be his own boss.
You think David will keep on going?
Yes.
What do you think will stop him?
Oh, you know what will stop him.
What?
When it comes to an end.
I just don't understand why someone would care so much about what happens to a company after they've gone.
There's some women in your company, in your warehouse, who actually think your job is sitting behind a video screen watching them, like Big Brother.
Watching them?
Watching them, seeing how it's all working. They think you're sitting behind a big screen and seeing what goes on in the warehouse, and you're watching them.
Well, I'm amazed at that.
Would you hire me, Dave? Be honest.
It was time to cut to the chase.
I can do what you do.
I think an entrepreneur is...
How can you let go of the reins?
I see that when you're dead, you can't control anything.
Yeah.
Or when you've passed away, you've
But
gone.
does that keep you up at night?
No, but it is something I have a concern about, and I must say that. You know, succession going down the line is not an easy business.
Isn't the best thing you could say to your grandkids, here's your market stall, start again. Learn from the bottom. I mean, cut them off now.
No.
And make them into another Dave.
Oh, you can't do that. That would be very cruel to them.
But I think it's crueler to give them this much money. I mean, this is just me, you know, because they're never going to have your muscle. You know, I understand that the man automatically wants to hand it down, but they're getting such an empire that how can they win?
Well, I think if they're sensible, and they're sensible, and they want to have, and they've got work ethics, and they want to work, and they want to get stuck into a business, and they want to run it, and they want it successful going forward.
But they didn't build it, you know what I mean? To me, they're going to go haywire.
It's never easy, that. When you've not built it, you don't respect it quite as much.
Yeah.
I've got to go along with that, and...
I'd find some poor kid on the street.
Well, if that poor kid on the street has got ability, he'll come forward.
Right.
It seems that JJB, no matter how large a company it's become, remains at least in the mind of Dave Whelan, a personal fiefdom. By keeping a beady eye on the bottom line and a ruthless approach to labor, he's had a remarkable run of success, and from nothing has had more than he could ever need. And yet he's a king without an heir, which is all he ever seems to think about outside money. Everyone's a winner. Well, I wonder if Dave really won. Before leaving Wigan, I'm lured back to approve their latest ad campaign.
It was very kind of you. Toilet roll.
When did you do that? When did you do that? Am I counting toilet rolls like Dave? Has Dave seen that? He's going to be really pissed off that A, you used his printer, and B, you've used a really good toilet paper roll.
We're going to rip it off before he comes down.
Oh, he's coming soon. I'd run, Winston. I'd run.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo.